Yep.
That's too bad.
Yep. The amount of PvP experience gained from the Julie Roulette frontline has been increased from 400 to 600.
Okay.
And speaking of PvP, we have someone on the line who wants to talk about it.
Is it Albert again?
No, it's Arthars.
Oh, Arthars! Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, shit. My dad?
Yeah, you're on. Hey, what's up, man?
Do you ever sleep?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, my God.
Not on Sundays.
I blame you guys, man. You guys were supposed to start at usual time.
We never said that. We never said that we were starting at 2.
You know what, though?
Extra late. There's no way I would be alive if we started at 2.
Yeah, we
I wouldn't
knew.
even be here.
I saw, man. You guys were streaming 24 hours. Good job, by the way.
Thank you.
For once, it's not my fault. It's Nika's fault. Like, I should have been having dinner by now. I should have been having dinner by now.
We need to be eating dinner.
You guys didn't bring fucking dinner for us. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, we could leave the studio, walk out, and be eating pizza, but no, you guys just didn't bother to bring it. Anyway, Arthars, thank you for calling up again, and I'm glad that you called. Your call to the last episode was a very valuable call, and it has spread around the community like wildfire. It was posted up on Reddit. It was posted up on the official forums. Lots of feedback.
Yeah.
Lots of feedback about it. What do you feel about some of the feedback, man?
Oh shit! That's actually the last point I wanna.
Okay, that's fine. We'll get to it.
Okay,
where do you want to start?
Oh, initially I just wanted to start from PvP because of the earlier calls we have, but after listening to the podcast, actually there's a few more. Oh my god, I didn't want to call in today because I don't want to call two times twice in a row and then like spamming the chat or spamming the podcast and stuff. But I just can't hold it, man.
Oh, dude, no. Again, I'm gonna with the call that you had last time, and how valuable that was to the show and to the discussion. We're happy to have you on again.
Yeah, we only put call restrictions on people like Ryuichi.
Exactly. Yeah, we haven't heard from him in like 7 or 8 episodes.
Months.
And so we finally got him on today. And look what he does. He flubs his shout out. So.
Obviously, he needs 9 weeks to prepare for his next call.
We're kidding, Ryuichi. We're kidding, man.
Okay, here we go, man. Here we go, man. Okay.
Let's get into it. PvP, man. Yeah, let's go, Arthars.
Okay, no. First thing first. You guys were talking about ninja TP. No issues, dude. No way, man.
Get good, Arthars.
Unless you have like best in slot, reducing all the skill speed that Square Enix throws at us. Pretty much we run TP out so fast that we have to like beg for Bart to sing us Payon, and then in order to let Bart sing us Payon, we actually have to like literally stop giving them gold,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know what gold is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that thing.
Giving them gold.
It's that thing you give to the white mages.
Yeah. So they can sprint more.
And then they can sing us the song, So for ninjas out there, please, this is just a side note. Please don't give your butt gold. Let them sing Payon.
Yeah.
Okay, but after the fix, we get additional TP adjustment, which we really need it. So hopefully it should make us better, just like Paladin. Paladin had TP issues as well, but I'm not sure why Square Enix only did one stupid shoe swipe thing on Paladin. Not sure it will really help it, but.
It does seem like
best,
I'm totally on board with that, and Nika, back me up if you think I'm onto something. But I really do feel like if they were gonna do TP adjustments for Paladin, that like shield swipe is quite possibly the oddest place to be putting something like that, and that it's something that would have been greater served at any point in the rotation that Paladin usually has. I mean, it was.
Well, they reduced Goring Blade. I mean, that is something.
Yeah, but it just seems
once every 24 seconds.
That's so small, though. It's such a small change, such a small concession. I just don't know. It doesn't get the job done to me. So.
Okay, real quick. Point two is really fast. Fuck lot of Verminion. All right. Period. Okay. Now turn 3. All right.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Okay, PvP. Okay, just now we receive a call. Make pretty good points, by the way. And I want to highlight that I used to play PvP games as well. Namely like a few I can think of, like Assurance Call, but I think like maybe more than half of you not even born during that time. And
oh, dude, I played Ashran's Call. I played.
Wow, really?
Yeah, specifically, I played Ashran's Call 2. But yeah.
That's so much pity in that.
I know. No. That is the right reaction to that statement. That is the absolute correct reaction to that statement, because Ashran's Call was a really legit game that was so huge by the time that I had gotten into MMOs that it was so overwhelming I couldn't get into it at the time.
Two became shit, right?
Exactly, and at the time, for me, it was a decision between getting into Ashran's Call and getting into Dark Age of Camelot, and I got into Dark Age of Camelot because it seemed a little bit more noob friendly.
Fucking casual.
That's why the Ashran's Call 2 was so bad. I went into Dark Age of Camelot 2 as well. Yo, high five, man.
Yeah, see, exactly. You weighed the exact same shit and made a different decision. That's totally cool. I accept that. But you know what? That isn't to take anything away from Ashran's Call, because they did do a lot of things really, really right with their game, and they totally had every reason to have the audience that they did. So you know, I mean, I made a different choice, and yeah, Dark Age of Camelot was an okay game, but I don't think that either one of us necessarily came out on top on that one, man.
Yeah. All right. So I also play Ion, which is a kind of a PvP, a grindy PvE, but a PvP game. So I have some PvP experience as well in previous. Maybe I'm not the best, but I definitely like PvP. Have some experience in PvP. But come on, we can all agree that Final Fantasy XIV is not a PvP game, right?
No, I
certainly not.
Totally agree with you, because they fell into the same trapping that they did in FF11, where they made it an event. And it's its own separate thing, and again, like we were talking to Joe about, and I know that we have a future episode kind of planned about this, but an open zone where you have a bit of PvP, and I sort of imagine it as a sort of marriage between campaign from FF11, where you hold certain points, and what ESO does, where it sets different factions against each other, and and even ESO has a structure that has 3 different factions that are against each other that could be mirrored in FF14 as well. So I think they kind of are dropping the ball on PvP, because PvP is one of those things where if your game has excellent PvP, it will get MMO players to it. Like, you don't have to have people who are invested in the Final Fantasy series. There are people who will play a game because it has phenomenal PvP.
Remember day one when I was playing A Realm Reborn, running around Blackbrush Station, and I saw someone shout, "I'm playing this game for the PvP." And everyone just responded with, like, you realize you're playing a Final Fantasy, or like bro, really?
Yeah. Literally, it's one of those, like, don't hold your breath kind of moments.
Well, and you gotta get.
People was talking about, like, people do seal rocks mainly for esoterics, right? So more than half of the people, to be honest, even if they go into seal rock, more than half of them don't really care about the PvP. Like I heard in the NA servers, like some people like. Number 1 is sitting there on number 1, and then you have number 2 fighting number 3. They just want to end it so that, let the number 1 finish it so that they can have faster esoterics, not because they really like PvP, So, earlier the caller is saying, why not have 1v1, make your own 1v1, 2v2, 4v4, 6v6, or 10v10. It didn't really matter, because if you don't have a player base that really wants to PvP, they only did it for the esoterics, for example. So even if they have a system for 1v1, 2v2, whatever, you will still not have fun. You being the really good PvP player, you will still face through the other team, because all the other team wants to do is to finish the content and then get some sort of reward. For example, you guys were talking about Guardian Glamour. I like that, by the way. But if you were to put that, there will be more than half of the people that don't PvP wants to do it, so that we don't give a shit if we lose. We just want to make a 2v2, 4v4 team, go in, lose, whatever, clock up some of the PvP time, get reward. That's it. But,
right. And I think
you don't get fun. You still don't get fun. So
absolutely, yeah. and I think that drives at the heart of kind of what we were talking about with incentivizing the rewards that come out of specific content. And you're right that more people are plugged into PvP and Seal Rock right now because of the poetics. And if that's really the only driving factor, as soon as something puts out more poetics, people are going to vacate from Seal Rock and vacate from queuing for a Frontlines roulette and move on to whatever that thing that gives more tomes is. And I'm totally with you on that one. But I do think that having it be a good output of poetics at the moment has gotten more people into PvP than Frontlines ever did. Because
you mean ESO or poetic?
Sorry, ESO.
ESO, yeah.
Yeah. I think more people are interested in PvP in a way that they necessarily weren't when Frontlines was the main thing to do, because you weren't getting as many tomes out of that as you are with something like Seal Rock and with something like the PvP roulette. So I think it was a good way to introduce PvP on a mass scale to the community, because literally, you're right, literally everyone is queuing for it, and they've learned some things about PvP and the fact that PvP operates differently from PvE and the way that the rest of the game works.
Well, I think that ESO was a good thing in that it incentivized people who had tried PvP a long time ago to try it again. Like, it gave me a reason to actually give PvP another chance. My first experience with PvP was the very first one they had was at Wolf's Den.
Yeah.
And my experience there was enter, game starts, I get stunned and die. And that was like my entire experience with it.
So you're like, how is this any different from Titan?
Right, well, but the thing is, the way the thing that I was driving at is that having the PvP roulette and the Seal Rock experience, I think more people are exposed to PvP, and if they're exposed to PvP, that there is a sub community, that there is a thread of this community that would be interested in 1v1 matches, that would be interested, but you're right that on a mass level, on a completely, like, everyone is doing it, sort of like how everyone is doing, Seal Rock or queuing for PvP roulettes, that it would be an inherently much more limited audience. And I do think that does present problems for matchmaking and things like Duty Finder. So you're not wrong there. I'm totally on board, although I don't know what I would suggest to be able to fix a trend like that. So,
yeah, to be honest, though, bottom line is this is not really a good PvP game, but
that's I don't think you'll get any argument out of that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I love PvP, but just happened that this game just ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
In the first place, let's be honest, the first place Yoshida and team wanted to put PvP in is mainly just because people ask for it. I don't think they really planned for it. It's just people ask for it, and then they're like, you know what? If people want to ask want PvP, let's just throw in some intensive. I think that's as much as you can get from PvP right now. For the future, we will never know. But yeah, I mean, just take it with a grain of salt, man. This PvP system is let's just. Oh my God, I have no better word. Let's just call it shitty, all right?
Yeah, no, and I think again, I think no one here will disagree with you. But they have opportunities. There are ways that they could improve it, and I do think that if we here at LBR spend an entire episode unpacking that there could be some really good ideas that come out of that. Yeah. Yep. So, all right, Arthars, what else you got outside of PvP, man?
Okay, since I'm already calling, just to share some insight, what I was saying, like last week.
Yes.
Not last week? Yeah, sometime last week.
Last week, yes.
I get into Leviathan, so I tried a little bit of NA Little Adventures. So just to share some insight, I went to Savage, turn 1, with my item level 181 Warrior. I was really excited, man. I mean, I've cleared turn 4 multiple times, but I'm still very excited because it's a new experience for me.
And it's a challenge.
Warrior. Yeah, it's a challenge going for the first time. So, not gonna lie, it went really shitty on my part. At the very first tank buster, I died already. One shot, boom, one shot, flattened, vaporized. So everyone on the voice is like laughing, oh my God, Arthars, oh my God, blah, blah. Even the Twitch chat as well. So that's where I start asking for advice, because as good as I am on Ninja, I mean, I'm not really good, but as experienced I am on Ninja, I'm still a new noob as a warrior, especially a male item level 181, you know. So I start asking people for advice, you know, in the game, in Twitch chat, you know. So what I notice is almost everyone is giving you advice, you know, based on them being item level, you know, 210 or them being best in slot, or them being even like maybe item level more than 200, all right? So they were not giving raw experience when they first step into Savage. So they start to be saying, oh, don't worry, man. They don't even ask me what item level I am, what HP I am, what weapon I am. I'm actually using a Ravana weapon, all right? So they were like saying, oh, don't worry, just Deliverance, tank every single shit. No one tanks in Defiance, you know, don't be a game. No one tanks in Defiance, LOL, you know. But if you're in the beast, LOL.
But
exactly.
Arthars, if I'm understanding you correct though, but like if you're in 181 gear, you're generating hate at a massively handicapped level than someone at like in the 200 ranges, or just nipping at the 200 ranges. And so your rotation has to be entirely different. Like, yeah, that is good advice for someone who's in the 200 ranges, because they're pumping out enough DPS to be able to compensate for that hate. But but since you're a little bit behind, not because you don't have the context for the fight or you don't know what you're doing, you're receiving bad input from other players because they're not operating off the same context that you are.
Yeah, and you know, back in first day when we're doing progression, let's say, I mean, everyone is item level 1-8 something, you know, because since everyone is using melded accessories, you know, so you're playing against players who are similarly geared as you, so you might do your shit and it still work. But for me, going 181, and I'm playing with helpers who some of them are having like 210 weapon, I was like, dude, that's not gonna work for me.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
As much button I mash, you know, breaking the keyboard, you know, mash my face on it till my face bleed, eyeball drop. I'm not gonna get enough, you know, damage to generate hit. So you know, I'm saying this, you know, so if in case, because new players will always ask advice from the better players. I mean, obviously, right? So for you new players, next time when you were to give an advice to somebody, come on, please step into the situation and think, you know, maybe you can bring back your first experience when you first step into Savage, you know, to take into consideration what type of player they are doing, especially when we are doing with helpers. Those helpers know when to optimize everything, have good weapon, have good gear, and then while I'm in the first time in going warrior, you know, give proper advice. This is the first thing. Correct. And then, you know, I play with friends, not mainly Parks. That's why I didn't want to share this yet, you know, until next week, you know, with all the Void Arc 1 hour fail runs, then maybe I can input more, but just going to share what I experienced so far. So like, even when my friends are helping, I'm not going to name names, you know, but I'm just saying, you know, generally, because I don't think they purposely behave like that. I just think that maybe in general, this is, you know, I'm not going to say how the NA behave, maybe this is just how it goes around in the NA server, you know. I sense a lot of negativity. Like, you know, every single time one mistake, everybody will be like, oh God, you know, Houston, we got a problem, you know. Then start saying like, oh my God, maybe this, that, you know.
One mistake and then you abandon. Yeah, I've
one
seen
and done.
Oh, dude.
One and done.
Yeah, one and done guy.
So
it's a Nero sex life right there.
We cleared turn 1 finally. We went into turn 2. So again, no experience. 181 warrior going in, playing with really good people, dealing with multiple mobs, you know. I have to go in Defiance and grab hit because my damage is low, like we covered already. I can't go Deliverance and hope to get hit from all these 200 dudes. So we wipe, obviously, we wipe. Okay, we get to second phase, we get to third phase, we get to fourth phase. So all this negativity starts coming in. Oh my God, guys, we got not enough DPS. Oh my God, this seems undoable. So I was like telling them on TeamSpeak, dude, this is not even one instance. We are only here for freaking 41 minutes, and you guys are like trying to, like, you know, I understand that helpers, you know, most helpers goes in the hope that, you know, let's get this shit done and then let's get back to what I'm doing. But dude, 41 minutes. So we attempt a few more times and then we clear it, you know. So I was like, dude, look at this, man. You just need patience, you know. Yeah. A little bit of patience, you know, everything goes around. So come on, man, guys. Like I was saying the last episode, you guys can get things done, you know. Just a little bit of patience. It's not even one instant. 41 minutes. It's not even half an instant. and you guys gonna throw the towel in already. Come on, man, you guys can do it.
Totally.
Right?
And you know what? I'm gonna throw something else out there too, because I think Arthars, you kind of put a great example out there for someone who is maybe newer to a raid or under geared for a raid, where they're either trying to improve their performance or somebody's trying to give them feedback, and being receptive to that feedback, and also just not ignoring the variables that exist in there, like honestly not and not in a defensive way, being like, well, I'm doing what I need to do for my job, but just to honestly work through those issues, whether it's your gear level difference, or whether it's learning the raw mechanics of the fight. Patience is a huge part of this equation, and I think you're right, Arthars. I think that in general the NA community is way more willing to kind of blow off that patience, or not have that patience, or not exhibit that patience with new people or under-geared people, and that's a great testament to what you can do if you just have a little bit of perseverance and work through your group troubles. And this was a pug, right? Like, was this a pug? Yeah.
No, not really a pug.
Oh,
it's
not
like
really.
Maybe we have a few people amused as well, so all of us are pretty undergeared, and we have people who is first time on the God machine doing the debuff.
Sure.
We have really some good helper. Shout out to Zeno, by the way. Thanks, man. He was a beast when he helped us. He's really patient. He's telling me everything what to do, and yeah. Thanks to him,
that's a really interesting line of thought too that I hadn't really thought of before for this game. But looking back on my MMO history, it's kind of really transparent, but the idea that when you have better gear than someone else and you're trying to give them advice on their rotation, it could be entirely different. In World of Warcraft, when I played Shadow Priest, everything was dot based, and haste affected the speed at which your dots would tick. So when you got to certain haste caps or certain accuracy caps or crit caps, then your rotation would change drastically.
Right.
So it's telling someone, this is what I do. They're like, how's your DPS? So I do this. That could completely fuck them over.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too that you mentioned is you had some people, or the people in your group you had couldn't generate enmity as fast as what someone at a higher gear level would do, right? And I think that that's probably a big difference between the way that the JPs play and the way the NAs play. Is if someone sucks, that's it, I'm done. It harkens back to when Aniro was in that Shiva and that Bard was just going balls to the walls. I feel like probably in the JP community, they are able to take stock of the situation that they're in, and without a second thought, they just naturally...
If you're ripping hate as a DPS, that's a clear indication that,
they naturally just conform to what the situation needs, and if Arthas was in a party, where he wasn't pulling as much hate as someone with a higher item level, they would naturally pull their DPS back.
And I think, I think that has a lot to do. I think that has a lot to do with the NA community just wanting to show off the virility of their E-penis. That's all it is.
You guys were just talking about the JP, right? Wow. Now remind me of something. Because of I'm not saying bad experience. It was a good experience, by the way. Since we cleared, it's just a little bit of negativity, but eventually it was not that bad. I'm not gonna say the NA is bad. It wasn't that bad. It's just some form of negativity, but I don't think they really mean it, because end of the day we did clear, so I think they still gave in.
Well, you can work through it. I think you can work through it. I just think that attitude is way more prevalent among our the NA players, and that's just an opinion. I mean, clearly I haven't.
Just an opinion, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Arthars, you would be able to correct me on that, because I really don't have much of an interaction with any other community outside of the NA community.
No, you were right. You guys were really right. Yesterday I went into, I practiced, I told myself, okay, so before I go back to this NA server to do turn 3, right, I'm going to get some practice on my main, in Chocobo, in my main Dark Knight character. I'm going to get some tanking experience in before I go to the NA and start going into the war zone again, So I picked up my Dark Knight, item level maybe to about 200, but still a 190 weapon. I went to a so-called help group, but I told them that I have 0 experience Dark Knight in the turn 3. So they are like, oh sure, we would be glad that even you know, because they really need the Dark Knight. They were like saying, "Oh, we will be glad that you know you come and help." Since we wouldn't mind the Dark Knight, we will see how we go, and then we one shot it. My very first time going into Dark Knight.
Just something that I noticed about the way you...
And my DPS is shit, you know. My DPS is 500, you know. People can laugh because I myself is laughing. My DPS is utter shit.
Yeah.
They were doing at least 1,000.
But it was enough.
We one-shot it.
But it was enough.
It was enough.
Yeah.
And then people is like telling me, whoa, I was like saying, I'm sorry, you know, if my DPS is really low because JP passed nowadays as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, before I want to let them think that my DPS shit, I better like fucking own up first. I tell them, okay, I'm sorry guys, my DPS is really low, first time here. They were like say, don't worry, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
see, that's
your DPS can be low, but that was awesome. You should join us next time. I was like, whoa.
That's
okay.
That kind of encouragement is a big thing. I think that's a big difference. Yeah, because I mean, I mean, like it's one of those things where like I sometimes I hesitate on joining a party finder party if it's like my first time through and trying to explain that and then having everyone go, oh god.
Well, just when he was sharing the story originally, what he said was like, this is only like we're only 41 minutes into our first attempt at it.
Yeah.
And that just like that mindset is so different than the NA mindset in my experience, where it's like, well, wait, what do you make you think there's going to be a second attempt at it if this group can't do it on the first
that's
one?
More like the mindset of FF11's community. I feel like there was a lot more of that when there, you know, the fights themselves took like 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Arthars, we have to move on, but before we
before
we let you go, I do just want to ask you, what do you feel like? There've been a lot of comments, a lot of feedback about your last call, your last appearance. It got a lot of attention out there in the FF14 community. I'm sure that you've been getting messages and feedback on your own. I mean, like, what do you feel about the discussion that you sparked on the last episode with your call?
Wow. To be honest, when I make that call, I was like getting ready to get slaughtered or, you know, get flamed to the ground, etc. You know. So the next day after you guys highlighted it, people start linking me. Ready. I went to read. I was like, oh my god, I'm so gonna be like flamed, you know.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the reception is okay, but I just want to say though, like, this is not all the points that I speak like today, and the last letter is not. You know, I'm not a really NA based experience. All this comment doesn't come from me.
Right.
In fact, all these comments come from you guys. I just happen to consolidate and just say it out. You know, I'm not gonna take any credit for it because these are the things that you guys experience every day. Probably all you guys are like saying it every day already. It's just that, you know, I'm just magnifying it. So like, hopefully again, like what I said last week, hopefully you guys can work together because you guys can work together. I'm playing in NA server now. I can feel it. And there's a lot of helpers out there recently that emerged. So that's really good. You know, it's not going to take one day. It's not going to take one person effort, you know, to change this community. Maybe it might not even happen, but, you know, just give it a go. Since you guys already paid $12.99 every month, right?
Yeah.
I don't make it a better experience, you know?
There you go.
Rather than going the other way, oh my god, it's my $12.99. I don't give a shit how I play. Stop telling me what to do, you know? How about going the other way?
Can we turn that into a drop, please?
Oh my god, yes. We so need to. Arthars, thank you for calling, man, and giving your perspective. Again, you know, last week it was a very fascinating look into the difference between the two communities, and now that you're stepping into the NA community and you know, having your own personal experiences, and to sit there and say, come on guys, I know you guys got the talent, I can see it, it's just you're not putting forth, you know, the amount of dedication and the effort that's required to be able to pass this. I totally understand that, Arthars, and I really appreciate your call. Thank you for calling in.
Being said though, 3.1 new patch, new void arc, etc. Maybe next week my view will change. I'm not sure, man. Okay.
We'll
anyway, wait. Do I get a shout out?
Absolutely. Make your shout outs, Arthars.
Okay, but to all the players listening, have faith in the game. Exploration airship kind of is look like a glimmer of hope. You know, look something new. Hopefully it's good, and then we can move on that. And also, I wish you happy painting and God bless.
Arthars, thank you so much for your call, man. Such a good dude, and again, such an important perspective being brought to this show. I
need to bash somebody in the chat really quick.
Oh, really?
Darkstar7646. I'm calling you out. He says, Arthars, you need to stop with the EULA and this is my $12.99 needs to be forcefully stopped. It's not true. Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah. Right.
Learn to use it.
Yes. Sarcasm. All right.